when things are good. But remember that He is faithful. He's not faithful just because things are good. He is faithful because that's who He is. It's His identity. It's who God is to us. He truly is faithful, even in the difficult times. So circumstantial obedience requires no trust. It requires no character. It requires no faith to be faithful on Sunday and to love Jesus when everything's good. Man, it requires trust when everything's bad for you to still have faith in the same God. It's easy to follow Jesus when others around you are following Jesus. It's difficult when you're the only one committed. And this is what Noah's case was. Remember? Man, everyone around him was wicked. Everyone was bent against God. But Noah stood faithful. He was a faithful follower of God. But then look at verse 8. We see not only rebellion leads to God's wrath, but then we see trust leads to obedience, and obedience leads to God's favor. Obedience leads to God's favor. Back up a little bit to verse 8 and look at what it says. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Man, don't you wish that, we could just fill in the blank? Wayne found favor in the eyes of the Lord. I love the sound of that. Here's what happens. If we really want to find favor in the eyes of God, we've got to be obedient to Him. It's very simple. God doesn't make it very difficult for us to follow or understand. We just truly need to trust Him enough to obey Him. And when we trust Him enough to obey Him, He will show favor to us. He will love us, and He will show us and care for us. We will experience the grace and the mercy of God in the midst of all of those difficult circumstances as we are obedient to Him. No matter how wicked the world becomes, God is always searching for righteous men and women. God is always looking for a Noah. He's always looking for you and for me to continue to be consistent in the midst of difficult circumstances. But we can sum it up with this. This is kind of a bottom line, if you will. Present trust produces future purpose. Present trust produces future purpose. I promise if you trust Him today, He will give you a purpose tomorrow. But the problem is, and when we start floundering around in our Christian walk and we don't feel like we're living a significant life of purpose, it's simply because we're not following Him. We're not being obedient to Him. There's something that's disconnected us from His voice, and we're not hearing Him. We've got to trust Him. We got to trust Him. Even when it's dark and we can't see the way, no matter what comes our way, we've got to trust Him. So present trust will produce future purpose.